Awesome. Things to be learned from 9 years on Mastodon and the Fediverse. A Linux Fest Northwest talk by Vanta Black. Okay, so welcome to my talk. Thanks for coming. Really, it means a lot. Happy y'all are here. Okay, so for the unfamiliar, what is Mastodon? What is the Fediverse? Mastodon is a specific software on the Fediverse. There are others, like Sharky and Akoma, but Masto is by far the most popular. The Fediverse is a decentralized network that uses ActivityPub, so it's not one website you sign up on, rather a whole universe of them. Thousands of separate communities, all talking to each other, communicating using this protocol to form what we like to refer to as the Fediverse. Fediverse. It's short for Federated Universe. Lately, some people have been calling it the open social web, but this will never catch on. It is unique in that all forms of bigotry are actively moderated against, as per the Mastodon Server Covenant. Of course, this isn't always perfect, but it's still light years ahead of the free-for-all Wild West unmoderated hellscape state of other social media platforms, namely corporate ones. Special thanks to these two. Key points. Number 1, community will save you. Okay, so first off, let me say right off the bat that the Fediverse has saved my life numerous times and continues to. When I first joined in June 2017, and don't do the math there, I had no idea the huge impact it would have on every facet of my identity and life. It gave me a home when I had none, a community when I was totally isolated, and it filled the void in my life where a supportive family is supposed to go. And now, fast forward to the present, and I'm in a book about the Fediverse. It's called Move Slowly and Build Bridges, Mastodon, the Fediverse, and the Struggle for Democratic Social Media. I get recognized IRL from there constantly, I think it's happened 26 times now or something in the past couple of years. Just when I'm out in Seattle, just at the bar, at the park, at the grocery store, whatever. I escaped my abusive family and started a new life in Seattle thanks to the Fediverse. I met my best friend and my joy friend through the Fediverse. The whole reason I was able to eventually build an IRL social life for myself at all was thanks to this place. I am able to continue existing day to day thanks to the material support I receive from the Fediverse. I'm 56,000 words into writing a memoir about all of this and the culture of the early Fediverse, namely early Mastodon. It's called The Power of Friendship, my Mastodon microblog memoir. So yeah. The Great Vant Escape. Now let me tell you the story of how I escaped my abusive family and got up to Seattle in the first place, and then managed to build a beautiful new life for myself there over the years. The year was 2019. It was December 23rd, and I had just started hormone replacement therapy. The first step in a long and arduous mountain climb that is transition. So it was December 2019, right? And then COVID happened relatively shortly after. I was working in fast food at the time and utterly miserable, and I had no choice but to move back in with my parents. Because I had asthma and COVID doesn't mix well with that, we were all just super concerned about it and stuff. So they had been growing increasingly abusive and confrontational about me being trans. At one point, they just went into my backpack and stole my medication, my hormones, and refused to give them back except a small amount to wean me off. That's crazy stuff, right? So I knew in that moment I had nothing left for me there. It had escalated past the point of no return, and I needed a way out. So I turned to Mastodon. I turned to the Fediverse, my only community at the time. I pleaded for a place to go and the means to get there. And it delivered so incredibly hard. I was contacted by a longtime mutual who offered me a spot on their couch. I was contacted by a private pilot with a small plane who offered to fly me wherever I needed to go. And in the span of a day, I went from needing a way out to having one. But there was a catch. The pilot was only rated for clear skies, so if we wanted to do it, it had to be that night. I packed what little of my life I could fit in a single pitiful backpack. That night, I went through the motions, pretending to go to sleep, because my parents were like, they would freak out if they heard I was up past 10 p.m., even though I was like an adult and stuff. I had to literally just sit there with my eyes open for several hours, waiting and not actually doing anything. Then, around 3 a.m. or so, the escape plan was put into motion. I grabbed my bag, grabbed my boots, strolled out the front door, and made sure to get out of the neighborhood before putting my shoes on. Then, walked to the nearest store parking lot and called an Uber, and plot twist. This was during all the George Floyd stuff, so there was a curfew in my city. It's a miracle I didn't get busted for being out that night. And that also meant the closest Uber driver was 45 minutes away in another county. I had to wait a really long time. So much of this epic escape was just waiting and killing time. Then, driver arrived, took me to the airfield, then it was an even longer amount of time waiting for the pilot. And if you know anything about me, you know I'm ADHD, and waiting is pain. So this was nothing but pain. Then finally the pilot arrived and let me into the airfield, and when we took off, said, "Wave goodbye to your horrible family." This would be the end. This should be the end. But they have continued to stalk me intermittently over the years. It is annoying. Oh, and people still talk about it to this day as a huge important piece of Fediverse lore, because the whole thing was live posted by one of my friends who was acting as mission control for the whole thing, coordinating every party and keeping everyone updated. I used to always ignore people when they'd ask me about it. It wasn't until I wrote about the whole experience in my memoir that I was able to really come to process it and be okay discussing it. It was by far the scariest experience of my whole entire life, and I couldn't have done it without all the wonderful people who supported me through it all. Point number 2, it will be hard. The Fediverse isn't all sunshine and roses. It's full of real-life human and non-human moderators working at scale to keep their users safe. Sometimes, a lot of the time actually, mods will disagree on the correct course of action to take. So, I just kind of existed in Seattle for a few years, and then 2023 happened. Now we're at Fedi Pact. The anti-meta Fedi Pact. The culture of the network has shaped me in huge ways, and also the reverse. I've shaped the culture of the Fediverse quite a bit. Partly by just having been a big account on there for so long, but also primarily through Fedi Pact. What is Fedi Pact? A pledge that Fediverse instance admins could sign, and can still sign, to signal they want to block Meta's threads from federating with their server. It has nearly 1,000 signatures as of writing. These represent the administrators of instances on the Fediverse who want nothing to do with Meta, or Facebook, or Instagram, or Threads, or whatever. None. They don't want corpo social media encroaching upon our epic little oasis of freedom amidst the corporate internet. Fedi Pact has been featured on Wikipedia, and in various news articles and books and podcasts and academic papers and more. It is by far the thing I am most well known for, I would definitely say. I even got misgendered by the editor-in-chief of The Verge over it. And John Gruber called us an island of misfit loser zealots, and that just sounds cool, come on. Being well known for this is actually pretty cool to me. It's so neat having done something meaningful and worthwhile. It seems to have worked. Or at the very least, we've won the battle, if not the war. Meta has announced their Threads ActivityPub Fediverse integration is in maintenance mode, and they won't really be actively working on it anymore. But the fight isn't over yet. They still have a prominent, ominous place in the Social Web Foundation, where they might use a corrupting influence to lead the Fediverse astray. We must remain vigilant in face of this threat. Okay, so how did Fedi Pact happen? It blew up at exactly the right time, basically. I happened to notice the former CEO of Mastodon. Oh, by the way, Mastodon plushie. I noticed the former CEO of Mastodon, Gargaron, and Dansep, the creator of PixelFed and Loops, chatting on the timeline, because I followed them both. The parent post was gone, but I still saw some of the replies, and that's when I realized they were talking about meeting with Meta under NDA, non-disclosure agreement. So I posted the post and linked the replies, and when those were inevitably deleted, someone managed to dig up a screenshot that was cached on their server. Behold, in all its glory, the post and reply that started an internet riot across the entirety of the Fediverse. The thing is on the right. The thing on the left is what I posted about it. People were so angry at Gargant and Dansup for this, like the whole community was. They saw it as a betrayal. I know I did. Sure, non-disclosure agreements were standard practice in the world of big tech, but the Fediverse was anything what? Anything but. It was the antithesis to this in so many ways, and so the network was torn asunder. Everyone arguing their opinions. Should we welcome our new overlords or revolt? And this was when I had the idea for Fedi Pact, but I figured I'm not an instance admin, so there's nothing I can do, right? I was just on a server at the time. So I put the idea out there and expected someone else to take it and run with it. And a week later, nobody had. But somebody was posting asking if such a thing existed. I was like, yeah, I talked about that. That was my idea. And they were like, yeah, you should make that, or like, that'd be a cool thing to have. So I decided, well, if nobody's going to do it, I'll do it myself. And so I did. I wasn't even an admin at the time, but I had, I don't know, the right whatever. And so I did. I set it up quickly in a flurry of hyperfocus. Of course, in the end, I would be proven correct. And so I posted, hate to say I told you so by the hives on the official Fedi Pact account, Lamau. It wasn't even an instance admin. I wasn't even an instance admin, but I would be eventually. Okay, here we go. Part number 3. Point number 3. It's still worth it. Cyber Syndicate. One night in late 2023, I got home from a Christmas rave and was perusing available domains on Namecheap. And I noticed cyberpunk.lol was available. So on a whim, I purchased... Actually, no, that's not accurate. I didn't purchase it. I stayed up all night because Namecheap was having issues. And then I couldn't get it until like 6 a.m. I had already done a bit of research about hosting an instance previously, so I already knew the ideal managed hosting provider to work with and all that. It all just kind of fell into place beautifully, one piece at a time. The domain, while I was waiting for Namecheap to stop having issues, I wrote the code of conduct, the theme, the mascot, other mods and admins, and eventually running other related instances under the Cyber Syndicate banner, like cyberpunk.gay or seattle.pink. We run a whole bunch of them. I'd already been on Fedi for a good number of years before I decided I would become an admin. I always told myself I would never, because it's so easy for people to hate you when you're in that role of moderating and making hard decisions and having the final say in a conflict. But after Fedi Pact happened, I figured half the Fediverse hated me already, the ones who wanted to federate with threads. So there was no point in holding back any longer. On the Cyber Syndicate, we have a team of 5 members. Me, the owner, 2 other admins who also do tech stuff, 2 mods who help us out with moderation. And yeah, when it started, it was just me for a while. It took a good while to get where we are today. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. The power of love and or friendship. I met my joyfriend and my best friend through the Fediverse. I gained an IRL social life through the Fediverse. I constantly get recognized from the Fediverse. Yeah, community is important. It will save you. It will be hard, but it's still worth it. Thank you for listening. I'm glad. I guess now we have question time. Anybody got any questions? It's cool if not. Okay, go.
Okay, so as things are transitioning and people are more conscious in the world about the problems with social media, and especially young folks, what do you, with your information and perspective on all this side of things that most is not part of that conversation in the broader world, where does that fit in? Like, everybody sort of seems to be in the just like, it's like binary yes or no social media for young folks. How do you engage with that whole topic?
So I was asked about social media, and we're supposed to repeat the questions into the mic, I think. And yeah, I don't know, we're kind of trying to build a space outside of the corporate internet. So we just kind of do our own thing. I don't think I really thought too much about that.
Well, I guess just as an example, like in Australia, there's news that they're saying age limit, like anybody under 16 can't use social media, period, as like a law. And obviously that would apply to the Fediverse, but it's complicated because it's not the same thing as the corporate media with their responsibilities and requirements. Like, do you have a position on this sort of thing of like, okay, well, what's bad is the corporate social media as opposed to what's bad is social media, or like, yeah, what's anything about that topic? I'm just curious what your reactions are.
I think social media can be done in more healthy ways than what's done on the corporate internet. And as far as like age gating and stuff, Mastodon, the Mastodon project, has formed like some sort of committee or something like that to talk about it and figure out if there's what they need to do, if anything at all. So yeah, it's kind of just up to the people who make Mastodon, I think. Anybody else?
Who do you use to host your hardware?
Fedi Monster.
As in, they're a provider for Fedis?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
It's a fedi.monster, the domain. Go.
Is that hosting for all of the instances?
No, that's just for cyberpunk.lol. We have a wonderful team of tech peeps who work on other instances. Cyberpunk.lol was the first, it's the biggest, it's our main, but the other ones are hosted elsewhere. Specifically in my wonderful Joyfriend's apartment.
There are so many Mastodon servers out there, and it seems like choosing one is partially an ethical choice. Do you have any suggestions on how to pick a Mastodon server if you're not ready to be an admin, you just want to be a user?
So I was asked about picking a Mastodon server. I would say if you know anybody on the Fediverse or have just like kind of seen any local instances, like we run Seattle.pink and we always invite people to that. But yeah, a great way to get people on Mastodon is to kind of just, instead of being like, yeah, join Mastodon, pick a server, is just kind of invite them to yours. So if you know anybody on there who could give you an invite to theirs and like vouch for the goodness of their server, that's always an option. If not, there are things, there are websites that like host a catalog of different servers and like you can filter by different interests and figure out what works for you. And you're not stuck with one. Like if you find a better one, you can always just move your account over. It's fine. No more questions? Cool. Oh wait, yeah.
Yeah, I'm in great hopes for this as being a really potentially real powerful alternative. But my question is, we're up against the network effect. So I don't use social media at all, but my daughter's helping me get rid of my belongings before they have to deal with it. And she turns a lot to
Facebook Marketplace? Is it?
I hate the way you lose words when you get old. But there's a marketplace, Facebook Marketplace, and that's been incredibly successful in getting rid of things I would never have dreamt anybody would want. So you're up against a network effect. So how do you think, and I think the prohibitions like we have in Australia, and there's consensus among young people too about not having them in classrooms, but I think the idea of banning things that you don't like probably isn't going to work very well. We have to provide a better alternative. So how do you think we deal with the network effect?
I was asked about the network effect. What is the network effect?
The power of the number of nodes in a network. So currently we're greatly outnumbered by the corporate network.
Yeah.
And it gives them immense power, and that's the reason that native groups and all kinds of people actually go to Facebook as their first choice. So how do we make the Fediverse the first choice when we have to deal with the mathematics of it?
I would say even if you can't necessarily cut out corpo social media entirely, just kind of using the Fediverse on the side, maybe like promoting it here and there, being like, yeah, there's a better way. You can join Mastodon to like people on corpo social media. That's a good way to kind of, grow things and like still be able to have your, be able to like interface with like life and like modern stuff and like still be able to also, like forge a new alternative, I would say.
I think just to add on to that, I'm an instance admin also.
Cool.
I don't think people on the Fediverse really care, honestly, about the network effect and having everyone go to Mastodon first. It's just kind of like our place that we go. And if other people don't want to do it, then that's fine. This is our home, and I mean, that's just the way it is.
Sounds about right, yeah.
I'll just add on, since it seems like there's some open discussion about this. I mean, I'm channeling Cory Doctorow, who I think is worth looking at. His newest book, Enshittification, makes this pattern really clear. But the summary is like, Facebook exists with their network effect because they hacked into MySpace and made a thing saying, you can keep all your MySpace friends, but do it through Facebook because we're going to scrape MySpace. And the basic point is that then they did everything they could to make it illegal and technically infeasible to maintain your connections through Facebook, but through a different system. And basically this is antitrust law, and we need laws that say Facebook has to allow people to make their data portable and maintain connections across systems, because what has to happen to break the network effect is for people to be able to leave without losing all of their stuff and leaving it behind. That is the actual solution.
Nice, hell yeah.
Dumb question, if they were putting Blue Sky in the same category as corporate social media, and it's like in the same, it's like separate from Fediverse and Mastodon.
I was asked about counting Blue Sky with corpo social media. I mean, yeah, they're VC funded. They are like funded by a bunch of crypto stuff. It's a whole thing. Yeah, Blue Sky is a whole thing. It's funny because they say they're decentralized, but when the main site goes down, all the other things go down. You can't use them. So that's a whole thing. I don't really know too much about Blue Sky. I don't really post on there, but yeah, that's what I've heard about it on Fedi.
To add to that, there are bridges which will take your Mastodon posts and put them on Blue Sky.
Yeah.
And then when people reply to you, it says, here's your replies from Blue Sky. And frankly, the quality of replies you get from Blue Sky is a lot lower versus Mastodon. I think that's another thing about network effect, is when you have everyone, for better or worse, the quality of discussion just gradually declines to the lowest common denominator.
Yeah, I feel
you
that.
get Twitter, where it's full of fascists. Because, no, they pay for $8 a month, they get it to stay here. And they weed everyone else out because no one wants to be around fascists.
And what's great about that too is that you can defederate from other servers if you want to. So it's really like the best of both worlds. You can have your own little community, or you can spread as far as you want on the Fediverse.
Yeah, that all sounds about right. We have on our servers the Blue Sky Bridge defederated because of the lower quality of the replies and like the less moderated nature of them on that network. Yeah. Any other questions? Want to wrap this up? Y'all have a good day. Okay, cool. Thank you for coming. Have a good one.